The admiral's laughter echoed through the gleaming halls of the naval headquarters. Sharp, confident, the kind of laugh that told everyone who ran the place. Round him, officers chuckled too, careful to match his tone, careful not to be the one who didn't. But not everyone laughed. At the end of the corridor, pushing a wheeled mop bucket, a tall black janitor paused mid-step. His eyes, calm but tired, met the admiral's. "Tell me, son," the admiral said, still smiling. "What's your code name, huh? Mop Master? Or maybe Captain Clean?" The corridor went silent. The laughter died like a light turned off. The janitor looked at him for a long, unblinking moment, then simply said, "They used to call me Lone Eagle, sir." And for the first time that morning, the admiral froze. "Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening." It was supposed to be just another inspection day. The admiral, a man whose medals could fill a museum case, had returned to the base to oversee a new class of SEAL recruits. He was known for his discipline, his charm, and his wit, though the latter sometimes came wrapped in arrogance. He liked to test people, to see how they reacted under pressure. The janitor, whose name tag read Samuel, had worked there for only 3 months. Nobody knew much about him. He came early, left late, and never spoke unless spoken to. He was just another quiet presence in the background, mopping the same floor as he once marched across. 'Cause once upon a time, Samuel had not been a janitor. He had been Lone Eagle, one of the Navy's most decorated covert operatives. A man whose name appeared on missions too classified to ever make headlines. But a tragedy years ago, a mission gone wrong, lives lost under his command, had ended his career. He had walked away from the uniform and into silence. The admiral, of all people, didn't know that. That morning, he had spotted Samuel standing by the wall as he briefed a group of young sailors. A simple moment, but the admiral's ego couldn't resist an easy jab. "Gotta love the Navy," he said. Even the janitors stand at attention. The room chuckled, but when Samuel turned, the admiral noticed something in his eyes. Not defiance, it's not submission, just stillness. Like the quiet before a storm. "Permission to speak freely, sir?" Samuel asked softly. The admiral smirked. "Go ahead, Lone Eagle." The nickname had been meant as a joke. But when Samuel nodded a small, knowing nod, the admiral's breath caught. "How do you know that name?" he asked. Samuel's hand, still resting on the mop, trembled ever so slightly. "Because it was mine," he said. "Before you ever wore that star?" The air in the corridor thickened. You could feel it. The shift, the confusion. A few officers exchanged glances. The admiral's face lost color, stared, eyes narrowing, searching for proof this wasn't some elaborate prank. But then one of the younger SEALs stepped forward. "Sir, it's true," he said quietly. "My dad served under Lone Eagle. He said he was a ghost, the kind of man even the enemy feared." The admiral swallowed. He remembered the stories. The man who'd flown through a sandstorm alone to rescue a pinned-down squad. The operative who never left a brother behind. The legend who vanished after a mission in Sudan. And he realized that man was now standing in front of him, holding a mop. "Why are you here?" the admiral finally asked, his voice softer now. Samuel looked around the corridor at the young recruits watching, at the floor polished to a mirror shine. "Because I made mistakes," he said. "Because every place, no matter how broken, deserves someone who'll keep it clean." No one spoke. You could hear the hum of the fluorescent lights, the distant clang of a door closing somewhere down the hall. Then unexpectedly the admiral straightened. His eyes softened, not with pity, but with something like respect. "You could have stayed in the field," he said. "Could have been anyone." Samuel smiled faintly. "I already tried being someone," he murmured. "Didn't like who I became." A long silence followed, not awkward, but reverent. Even the admiral, who'd built his entire image on authority, looked smaller somehow. He walked toward Samuel, extended a hand. "You still have the posture of a SEAL," he said quietly, "in the heart of one." Samuel looked at the hand for a moment, then took it. His grip was firm, steady, the kind of handshake that told you a man had seen storms and still stood tall. The admiral turned to the room. "Recruits," he said, voice ringing now with gravity, "you want to know what honor looks like? It's not in the medals. It's in the man who still serves, even when no one's watching." A hush fell. Then slowly, The young sailors began to clap. The sound built, hesitant at first, then thunderous. Samuel blinked hard, eyes glistening. He nodded once to the admiral, then quietly went back to his bucket. But from that day forward, no one called him janitor. They called him sir. Because respect isn't earned through rank, it's earned through grace, humility, and the courage to keep going when no one sees you. And sometimes the quietest man in the room has already fought the hardest battles. If that story moved you, take a moment to hit subscribe and join Whispered Words, where real courage speaks softly but echoes forever. And don't forget to comment where you're watching from. I love hearing your stories too.